everyone, today I'm just going to be putting my new Holbein 24 set colors into this midden palette. And it's 24 colors, so 24 half pans go into this here palette. And so yeah, I'm just gonna put these colors. I actually have 25 because I got an extra one. It's Opera Quadacridone. Yeah, Opera Quadacridone. Quadacridone Opera, that's what it is. And I'm probably not going to put the white in this set because I got some white gouache and I'm just going to use that as my white instead, but I'm not going to put that in the palette. I'm only going to use that when I need it. So I'm going to put 24 colors, but not the white. And this color does not come in the set. This is an extra one. So yeah, we're just gonna put these in the palette and I'm gonna let them dry and come back later and do a painting. But for you, it'll be instant because that is the power of the internet and technology and stuff. So yeah, that should be super exciting. I hope you like this sort of thing. I like this sort of thing. So yeah. So, of course, the first thing that I did was take out my half pans. Well, I guess they were already out, but I squeezed the paint into the half pans, which, I mean, of course I did that first. I did not swatch them before I put them in the half pans. I just went ahead and put them in the half pans, and I also labeled each one. And at first I was writing on the half pans with a Tombow brush pen, but it wasn't working out, so I ended up using a ballpoint pen and just writing it on the washi tape, which I was putting on the half pans anyway because the pen doesn't work on that surface, which I really wish that these half pans had like a surface that would take well to markers and such, so it would be easier to label. But, I mean, that was just a minor problem because, like I said, I was able to just put a little strip of washi tape on the side and go over it with a ballpoint pen, and that's how I labeled them all. And, like I said, there are 24 colors, and those colors are Crimson Lake, Rose Madder, Vermilion Hue, Juan or Juan, Brilliant Number 2, Permanent Yellow Lemon, Permanent Yellow Deep, Yellow Ochre, Yellow Gray, Cobalt Green, Permanent Green Number 1, and Permanent Green Number 2, Cherry Vert, Viridian Hue, Compost Blue, Cerulean Blue, Cobalt Blue Hue, Ultramarine Deep, Prussian Blue, Mineral Violet, Light Red, Burnt Sienna, Burnt Umber, Ivory Black, and Chinese White. And like I said, I did not put Chinese White in this palette because I got some white gouache and I want to use that instead, but I did not put it in the palette. But I'm thinking about putting it in one of the little mixing areas that I will not use because I don't use it in my Primer Marketing watercolor palette, which looks very similar to this one, so I'm probably going to put it there. But yeah, and it took a while to get the paint in the pans, I guess like maybe 30 to 45 minutes, and I actually, as you can see, did not film all of that, so probably took longer than that. It took a while. And I also know now that when filling half pans, it would probably be best to get like a toothpick and kind of work the paint into the cracks and crevices so that it won't get air bubbles at the bottom and it won't sink and stuff, which I had problems with when it eventually dried, which took a while because I did this on Tuesday night and I came back to it on, I think it was Friday when I came, yeah, it was Friday when I came back and swatched. I just hit the watercolors. And I swatched all the colors on a piece of watercolor paper and I cut them out and labeled them, and I did this so that I could arrange the palette in the way that I wanted it to be arranged and not just the way that they came in the set. Like, they're arranged in the set, and I wanted them to be arranged how I would want them to be arranged, which I guess that's the one of the advantages of having to, well, I didn't really have to build it really, I guess, I don't know. Well, being able to arrange the palette, that's a pretty cool perk, so I wanted to be able to do that. And I put the Quadacridone Opera Oh, I forgot to mention that Quadacrodon Opera is one of the colors, but it's one of the extra colors that I got. It didn't come in the 24 set, and I put that one first. And this is just a really, really pretty bright pink, and I love it so much. And so I did that. I cut them out and I arranged them the way I wanted, and then I put it into the palette, which, as you can see, that little metal piece there where the pans go in, that you can pull that out of the palette, and there's actually more mixing space underneath that, which I don't use it in my Primer Marketing watercolor palette, and I probably won't use it in this one, but it's a good thing to know that it's under there. And this is the Meeden watercolor palette. So after I did all that, I took this piece of watercolor paper that I cut out to the size of the palette and labeled and stuff, and I swatched the colors on there in the order that they are in the palette, so that I can use it as a reference for when I want to get a specific color. Yeah. And I also rounded the corners so that it looks nice in there, and yeah, it looks really cool with the palette. And these colors are really, really pretty. I think my favorites are Quadacrodon Opera, and I'm looking at my swatches now. Ultramarine Deep, that's like one of my new favorites because it's just a really pretty blue. And Mineral Violet, and Permanent Yellow Deep, and Permanent Green 1. Oh, and Burnt Sienna and Light Red. Well, I like all of the colors. They're all really, really pretty, but I did find that I have some new favorite colors, which one of those being Ultramarine Deep, because it's just a really, really, really pretty blue. It's almost purpley, but it's not purple. It's just really, really pretty. It's the color after the next color, so that's the thing. And I want to say that the swatching process took about 20 minutes. So a lot of work goes into setting up a palette, I guess. This is actually the first one. Well, technically the second one, because I have one. It's not really full yet, but it's like a chocolate tin. It's got bottle caps in it, and there are currently 2 colors in there, and I might add some more. I haven't decided yet, but this is the first large palette, finished palette that I have done, so that's the thing. And as far as the drying for the colors, like, because when you put them from the tube into the pans, they're wet. And it took about I'm counting now. I went but came back to it 3 days later, but they were still kind of tacky. They were still kind of wet, which I know that's kind of a thing with tube watercolors, because I actually own some other tube watercolors, just 2 of them actually, and it's Grumbacher Academy watercolors. And I remember that when I put them in the little chocolate tin, it took a while for them to dry, and they're really easy to reactivate and such. So I mean, that's just something to deal with. Speaking of reactivating of the watercolors, usually I'll just like put some water in on top of the watercolor and let it sit for a little bit. Like I'll put it in there and wait, like while I'm getting other things ready. They're like getting activated. And I mean, I didn't really have to do that because they were really, really easy to reactivate. And yeah, there's just like, but I think that's a good thing that I don't have to take that extra step. I can just take my wet brush and just move it around in there and get the colors, and it's perfect the way it is, and I don't have to do it stuff. Yeah, I'm going to talk about Quadacrodon Opera a little bit, because I saw this color on the internet a little while ago. I think I was on Blick, or it might have been Jerry's Autorama or something. And I was looking at watercolors, and I just saw Quadacrodon Opera. And I was like, Well, actually, it wasn't named Quadacrodon Opera, it was just Opera. And I just saw how bright of a pink it was, and it was just like, oh my goodness, I need that in my life. And now it's in my life. And I really loved it. loved it. I love it, present tense. I like it now. And I used it in this painting for the galaxy in the background. It's a really, really, really pretty pink. It's so bright. It's like, when I think pink, I think this pink. It's like a highlighter pink. It's just really pink. It's probably the pinkest pink I've seen in person. I also wanted to use that mixing area on the palette because I that's another thing. There's so much variety that I didn't really have to mix colors. And like, as far as like the blush on her cheeks and things are concerned, I just put the blush color on her cheek and just moved it around and mixed it that way. So I didn't really have to do like mixing on a palette because there's just so much variety. 24 colors. It's a lot to work with. But I mixed her hair color because I wanted it to be a specific purplish brown color, so I wanted to mix it and get it the way I wanted it to be. And I did, folks. And also, because I was having too much fun, I took the extra step and added stuff to her hair, because I usually just do a flat color. Yeah, because with watercolor paintings, I usually do most of the shading and stuff on the face, and sometimes the shirt, little clothes. And I leave the hair pretty flat, but I didn't do that this time because I was just having so much fun with the brush pen water brush thing, which that's also new. So yeah, I had a lot of fun with these watercolors, and I would definitely recommend them, but I'm not like a watercolor expert, so I don't know much about light fastness and all that, but they seem like they're pretty good to me, so I'm going to keep using them, and I'm enjoying them so far, and I like them a lot. And we are approaching the end of this. I just have to add the white highlights and stars and stuff, and then we'll be finished, folks. But anyway, that was me setting up my technically second watercolor palette and using my first batch of professional watercolors. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoyed watching me squeeze paint into tubes and swatching paint. I mean, it was quite the experience. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please enjoy the rest of your day.